This is the only reason I'm continuing to record. I cannot stop the recording until this route is completed because the field trip is too much. I awoke to some sort of artificial silence. As I looked at the scenery bathing in the morning sun outside, my consciousness felt light. Today must be the day. Today is when I disappear from this world. My very existence was wearing and transparently thin. Because this is my last day. Since it's my final day, I should go for a walk around my beloved island and take in as much of it as I can. You know, where is Sakura in all this? I mean, where's she wander off to? I mean, is she gonna show up at all? It's the route to school which I walk down every day. And what about Junichi? There's still plenty of questions. The cherry tree is on blooming right now. And you know, the fact that the cherry trees die on every other route, but they never forgot him like this. No, that never happened. So why the exception? What counted it in the first place? Will it get explained? Well, probably, but probably not even in this route. It'll probably be like in Sakura's routes, where I'd have to go through everything else first. I used to walk along here and talk and listen to Otome while trying my best not to yawn. I dropped by these shops a lot on my way back from school. When I was on a date with Otome, we went to that coffee shop. She took me shopping a bunch of times too. All my memories here are good ones. The observation point where you can look out over the ocean. Plenty of memories of that, including actually that one time where he actually did disappear in a bad ending as well. This is where Otome asked me to help her protect this island. But in the end, I still caused her painful memories. Painful memories are associated with that location, Sakura Park. The cherry tree petals were scattered all over, but there were still other people here. Love walking shoulder to shoulder. Lovers, I mean. I really wish I could have taken Otome on a date here. No matter where I walked or how many places I visited, I got the same sad feeling that I didn't have enough time. If I could, I would repeat everything that happened from the day I was born. Like raindrops falling from my fingertips, memories flooded my heart, and I helplessly took them all in. However, I knew that wish wouldn't be granted. I had arrived at the everlasting cherry tree which had already started to decay. It looked so lifeless, like an old dying tree that had been left without water for too long. Right now, the only one who remembers me is this tree. Shh. I could hear the grass rustling.
Sakura, もう枯れちゃいましたよ.
I heard a gentle voice from the other side of the tree. It was a voice filled with kindness.
前はいつも4月みたいに咲き続けてたのに、もう見る影もありませんね。せっかくの観光資源がなくなって、旅館の人たちは頭を抱えてるみたいです。
I see. My voice was trembling.
この桜が枯れたのはもう1週間近く前ですよ。
Yeah, just a bit. My timing was off. It was our final meeting. Coincidence or fate? Someone I'd like to see more but can never see again. I hadn't heard her voice in so long, but it was so gentle, just like it used to be. But it wasn't like the time we spent together as childish lovers. Thinking about that watered-out, meaningless reality only saddened me. Otome had already forgotten me completely. I don't know about that, man. I knew it from the moment I heard her voice, and it made me even sadder.
桜が枯れたところを見物に来たんじゃなかったんですね。
Yeah, I wasn't that curious about it. It's just a dead old tree now, after all. Anyway, what are you doing here? You already knew that the tree was dead. The wind was blowing, but not even one cherry petal moved. Everything was already over.
もし話に付き合ってくれませんか？もし時間があればですけど。
Yeah, I don't mind. My final moments. I didn't know how much time I had left, but I decided to spend that time with Otome. I leaned against the trunk of the tree on the side opposite of where Otome was standing. If I saw her face, I'd probably break down completely.
多分信じてくれないと思うんですけど、私ね、実は魔法使いなんですよ。この島の人を助けてあげる正義の味方なんです。
Otome said it probably while smiling triumphantly, but I already knew about this.
あれ？あんまり驚きませんね。やっぱり信じられません？
No, that's not it.
やっぱり信じてませんね。でも本当なんですから。
She sounded a bit peevish, and I caught a glimpse of her face as she peeked around the tree. It felt so painful. Her voice, her tone, it was all the way it used to be. She just didn't have any memories of it.
私、魔法を使ってどうしても助けてあげなきゃならない人がいるんです。たくさん勉強したんですよ。こんなに分厚い本を何十冊も読んで、何日も徹夜して。きっとどこかに答えはある。絶対にあの人を助けてあげられると思ったのに。だけどどうしてなんでしょうね。どんな本を読んでも頭が痛くなるくらい考えてもどうしても見つからないんです。島の人を助けてあげることはできるのに、一番助けてあげたい人を助けてあげられないんです。大好きなのに、誰よりも大切な人なのに、絶対離れたくないのに。
Otne's voice was tinged with unbearable feelings.
正義の魔法使いなんて嘘っぱちじゃない。どうして見つからないの？弟くんのこと忘れたくなんてない。ずっと一緒にいたいのに、どうしてどこにも答えがないの？
Otome! I felt that I had to rush over to the other side of the tree and embrace her, but my feet wouldn't move like I told them to. It felt as if I was stuck in a thick plaster cast. I was stuck in a thick invisible mud, and I couldn't even take one single step. If I could only take 5 or 6 steps, I'd be able to reach her. Otome was crying.
なんだよ、言っちゃわないでよ。ずっと一緒にいてよ。約束したじゃない。弟くんがいないと私ダメだよ。一人じゃ生きてなんていけないよ。
I wanted to say something, but my mouth wouldn't work. While I was trying to talk, my body had started flickering, much like a faulty fluorescent lamp. But please let me say a few final words. My feelings, my honest feelings, and my thanks. Otome, I was truly happy. Thank you. Let me be an ally of justice. While I could hardly see anything anymore, I could see Otome's tear-stained face clearly. And the next second, I ceased to exist forever.
こんなのって魔法の力って何なの？肝心な時に何の役にも立たないじゃない。こんな力なんていらないよ。魔法なんて使えなくていい。弟くん、私の大切な人を返してよ。普通の男の子と女の子としてもう一度弟くんと街を歩かせてよ。どうしてこんな簡単な願いが叶えられないの？
Is this the credits? You know, this is clearly not the route's ending. There's gotta be more after the credits. I'm not falling for that one. You know, it's one of those cases where it ends just like, that was it? That was depressing, man. But after the credits, then you get a bit more. It's just like, but you know, like, you know, if this was like a movie and you're in the cinema, you'd be like, well, that was a depressing ending. You leave and then they have a scene at the end that kind of, like, fills everything up. You're just like, why didn't we stay in the cinema to watch the credits? Because nobody watched the credits. But if you watched the credits, you would have seen that there's a scene after it. But damn the feels. I wish to improvise over this for no particular reason other than I'm just lost for words, yeah. I'm trying to figure out what key this is. Could it be? Ah, enough of that. Just trying to go along with the solo there a bit. Not actually playing the solo, but you know, just like soloing over the solo. This route gave the feels to another level. Although, still find the whole disappearing thing a bit confusing considering all the other routes. So I still wonder what's up with that. But I'm still convinced that this is clearly not the end of our route. There's more to it, there's gotta be. You don't just end a route like that. Yeah, your silhouette. Called it! Outside my window. Wait. What? Are we getting this from Otome's perspective? Outside my window, the cherry trees were in full bloom. Because this is clearly not Yoshiyuki. Because if it was Yoshiyuki, he'd say something like outside the window. Because this isn't his room. This is Otome's room. So outside my window, it's Otome. It's gotta be. Unlike in the past, they didn't bloom for several seasons. Now, bear with me here. Apparently, Otome's inner voice is a man's voice. Because I'm not gonna try to put on a female voice for this, but... Okay, serious now. By the time May arrived, they would stop blooming again.
新入生歓迎会の挨拶どうしようかな。
No matter how many desks I stood in front of, I just couldn't find a good way to express myself. Well, it's not that weird. The one person I'd like to welcome most is gone. I got up and picked up one of the many notepads I had lined up on my desk and flipped through the pages. On every single page I had written something down over and over. Sakurai Yoshiyuki, Sakurai Yoshiyuki, Sakurai Yoshiyuki, Sakurai Yoshiyuki, Sakurai Yoshiyuki, Sakurai Yoshiyuki. You know what this reminds me of? Anzu's route a bit. I felt so lonely because I'd forgotten the memories of my time with him. And when I suddenly realized that his face was fading from my memory, I was so scared. That is why I write the name of my beloved in a notebook over and over and day after day. Even if everyone else forgets him, I swear I won't. To make sure I don't forget, I write his name down in his notebook and treasure it like a jewel. However, it feels like water running between your fingers. Even small fragments of memories disappear like water drops. I can vividly remember his name, but I can't remember where I went with him or what I talked to him about. With time, my brilliant memories lost their color, and after losing their color, they disappeared. It makes me feel so lonely. I'm sure that Otome existed, it's just mortifying that I could forget it at any moment.
そろそろ気持ち切り替えなきゃいけないのかな。なんか暗くなっちゃった。散歩に行ってこよっと。
You know, I wonder if she's got any photographs of him. I mean, surely at some point he must have had some photographs taken. At times like these, I inevitably head for Sakura Park, and the place where my last memory of Otome lies. Wait, what's with the cherry trees? They're in bloom. I thought they all died. Or did they just like go in bloom, you know, ordinary way instead of all year round? When spring arrived, its petals were scattered all over the island. The cherry trees that were blooming now aren't like the old one, which would never wither, but the scenery looks the same as before. Same scenery I remembered from when I was together with Otome.
あれから2ヶ月か。
Since Otome disappeared and ended up alone, I've spent a long time crying.
やっぱり無理だよね。忘れるなんて。だって弟くんがいなかった時間より一緒にいた時間の方がずっと長いんだから。
I'm sure that no matter how many years that pass, I will never forget. In a world without Otome, where I'm all alone on a journey without destination, I will never forget him.
本当に魔法の木なら私のお願い叶えてくれてもよかったのに。
I mumbled that to the cherry tree, which said nothing in return.
できないでしょ。ってことはあなたは魔法の木なんかじゃなかったんだよ。
It's like she's like I just imagine the tree just like, oh, I'm not falling for that one. I'm not granting your wishes. I'm done with that shit. I've retired.
だからきっとあの日弟くんが消えたことも私が魔法使いだっていうのも全部夢だったの。弟くんは普通の男の子だったんだよ。
A very dense person, though.
正義の魔法使いなんかじゃなくて大好きな人とずっと一緒にいたいって願うただの女の子で。
I tried to convince myself that's how it was, but even if I tried, I knew it wasn't like that. Because no matter how much I said it or how much I wished for it, Otome wouldn't be by my side. I wept my tears and turned my back on the cherry tree. All around me were families and lovers on dates. The only one alone on the bench was me. Now that I thought about it, this was the bench I sat next to Otome on while eating grapes. Whenever I saw a male student pass by, I kept checking to see if maybe it was Otome. Wanted to go on a lot more dates with him. We didn't really get to do a lot of stuff as a couple after we started going out. There was so much I wanted to do for him, and I wanted him to do for me, you know? Oh, well, isn't this like a very familiar image, only in like the present rather than the past? Before I knew it, the sun had already started setting. You know, I, 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 I bet that he's gonna show up. I don't know how the hell he would show up, or how the hell it's possible, but he's gonna show up and it'll be a familiar kind of scene to the one in the past. Maybe. Maybe to some extent, I don't know. Because this is really having a kind of parallel to the past here, isn't it? I mean, she's out there on the bench with that look on her face, in this exact angle. I'd just been sitting there not really noticing it at all. I guess time passes like this when you've got no one to spend it with. Hey, what are you doing in a place like this? Huh? Someone had sat down on a bench and started talking to me. Hey, can you hear me? I remembered that voice. It was the voice of the person I love.
聞こえてるよ。
Ah, great, you finally answered me. As he happily replied, he held out his large hand. As he opened his hand, a small sakura mochi appeared. However, I didn't reach out for it. No, I couldn't reach out for it. My face had turned bright red and I started crying. What's wrong? Why are you crying? Did something sad happen? How can he say that? He's the one who made me cry after all.
大切な人を失った辛さなんて、あなたにはわからないでしょ。
I can't say that I don't know, but you really shouldn't be crying. You look much better with a smile on, Otome. As I heard those words, I looked up. Even though my eyes were blurred with tears that just wouldn't stop coming, I looked straight at his face.
だったら二度と私から離れないで。
How did he get back?
私の前からいなくなったりしないで。そしたら私、ずっと笑っていられるから。
I lost myself in a moment and embraced my beloved who was right in front of me.
バカ弟くんのバカ。寂しかったんだからね。私を一人にして。
Otome, you just told me you've always smiled, but you're just crying.
弟くんが泣かせてるんだよ。この大バカ弟くん。
So he reappears, no explanation currently. We'll probably get the explanation in Sakura's route, because it's just like, we're keeping it vague for now. So he's back, and this is how he acts? No wonder why I should be pissed off at him. Just like, what the fuck? You show up out of freaking nowhere, and this is how you freaking act like nothing? God damn it! Sorry about that, I'm sure we'll be together forever from now on. So, please don't cry anymore.
絶対だよ。今までずっと寂しくて悲しくてしょうがなかったんだからね。好きだよ。大好き。弟くんのこと誰よりも何よりもすごく好きなんだからね。
I clung to Otome-kun, completely ignoring the tears running down my cheeks. The everlasting cherry tree, a tree with the power to grant people's wishes. Wait, what? It has finally granted a strong wish for a boy and a girl deeply in love. Wait, you mean it granted the wish? How? That night, Otome came to my room and we talked about a lot of things. Now we switch back to Yoshiyuki's perspective. You know, it feels kind of weird, really. It's just like, this is probably like one that is just like, you're just like, okay, now it's just like, there was one thing that was missing in all that, wasn't it? One of those scenes. Just like, I want to just, blah. Every time, man. It's like, that seems like the whole point of it felt like, really, isn't it? Just like, no, they get that scene, then they're just like, I love you, and it ends, right? If that's how it is, then that's just like, what the hell? There's gotta be some explanation behind all this. How did the tree suddenly become like that? Sakura obviously did something. But what'd she do and where the hell is she anyway? I mean, she just disappears from the plot, randomly reappears and then just disappears again. Her route is definitely gonna be an interesting route when we get to it. I already read that. I don't know about Maika Senpai, about school, about the time I was gone. We talked for a long time and had a lot of fun catching up on the time we lost. You know, if this is the case, what about everyone else? Does everyone else remember him as well? Because if that's the case, what was that like when he, like, encountered them, or was it, or did they react as if like he wasn't even gone in the first place and just like, oh yeah, and not even think, wait a second, where have you been the past 2 months? What's wrong? Why do you suddenly get so quiet?
本当に
Huh?
本当に戻ってきてくれたんだよね。
You've asked me that like 5 times now.
だってこれは夢で朝に起きてまた一人になってたりしたらどうしようってそんな風に思っちゃうんだもの。
She held me really tight as she said that. Don't worry, Otome. The Circus is named the company of this visual novel. I'm sure they're not the kind of company that would end it on a downer there, you know. I must have caused her some really sad memories. Gee, you think? Well, it's not like you could really do anything about it, you know, not existing and all. I'm sorry, Otome, but I really do exist right here, right now. I don't know what happened, but when I came to, I was here in this world as myself. I think it's a miracle. It's always a miracle in these type of situations, isn't it? It's just like, okay, everyone, we've brought ourselves into this, so he disappears, right? Okay, that's kind of sad ending. No, it's gotta have a happy ending. Well, how are we gonna do that? Miracle. What? Yes, miracle. We'll explain the details in a different route, but for now, it's a miracle. And even then, it's probably still a miracle. I'm sure the everlasting cherry tree performed one last miracle for our sake. It's just like, it's been 2 months, and I feel kind of like a dick for not granting any more wishes. And I know I made this rule where I don't make any wishes anymore, but shit, why not one more wish for you guys? Just like, bring back the dense idiots. Sakura-san, it's okay for me to exist, right? It's okay for me to be here, isn't it? I don't know, where the hell is she these days? I felt that somewhere in the world, Sakura-san nodded and smiled. Somewhere in the world? It's like you're just saying, well, she could be anywhere. She could be on the island somewhere. She could be in Europe. She could be in America. She could be in Australia. She could even be in the Arctic for all we know.
弟くん今
Otome nodded at me as if she wanted to ask something. I was sure she felt it too, the final miracle performed by the everlasting cherry tree. To let me exist here. I am never going to let Otome have any sad memories again. To affirm that, I embraced her and whispered, oh, Jesus Christ, man, this reminds me of, like, Anzu's round all over again with that. It's just like, this will show their real feelings. Do I look like a dream or a mirage to you?
見えないよ見えないけど
It's just like to prove that he exists. He will do that. I could see anxiety clouding her eyes. Don't worry, I'm not going to disappear again.
弟くん
I embraced her tightly as if to confirm my own existence to myself and reassure her that I really did exist. Wait, was I supposed to also go, I'm not doing that, man. I wonder how long we sat there like that for. When I looked at the clock, it was almost midnight. If you don't go home soon, Yuma's going to be worried.
いや
No, it's like, no, we gotta have one of those scenes. It's the law, it's the rules. Eh?
今日は帰らないよ
She whispered that, then grabbed on tighter. What nay?
このぬくもりから離れたらまた弟くんが消えちゃうような気がして
It's okay, I'll be here tomorrow, the day after that, and forever after that. I'll always be by your side.
うん分かってるでもねやっぱり離れたくないの今日はね朝まで弟くんと一緒にいたいの
Until morning, huh?
もう今エッチなこと考えたでしょ
Oh, busted. Well, a bit.
正直すぎ
Why are you laughing anyway?
やっぱり弟くんなんだなって思って。
It's the triumphant return of the hero who gave his life, you know? Don't laugh at it like that.
ごめんごめん。いつもの弟くんらしいトークを聞いたらちょっと安心した。
And you know, being the hero and all, heroes get laid. Man, what are you on?
あ、でもこれだけは言わせて。ヒーローは大切な女の子を悲しませちゃいけないんだよ。
She smiled as she said that. She had been so sad, and in so much pain. But she didn't let a single trace of it show in her heroic smile, and I was deeply touched by her words. Well, both of them went through quite a lot of shit, to be fair. It's not just her. I mean, he also experienced, you know, that feeling of being forgotten by everyone and then disappearing like that, and then just randomly reappearing. That must have been disorientating. It's like, and so he goes and fades. Then suddenly, oh shit, I'm back. What the fuck? What? Oh, there we go. Mine's just like, then his mind and all that just like, okay, loaded. Oh, I remember now, kind of thing.
でも、エッチなのは感心しないな。
Oh, sure. Now, if you did that, you'd be breaking certain, what's the word? A pattern, I suppose. That'd certainly be a twist. Now that would actually be the biggest plot twist that this story could have, is to have a route that doesn't have one of those scenes, because that would really stand out. I'm not thinking about that sort of thing right now.
本当に?
Of course, right now I'm a pupil of the school of Jesse and pure thoughts.
へえ、全然? ちっとも? ほんのちょこっともそういうこと考えてないの?
Why do you keep asking that? Could it be that you want to think about sexy things?
女の子にそんなこと聞くなんて、弟くん、デリカシーないな。ただ、ね。
Just what?
ただ、前に、エッチな本読んでたでしょ?
Okay. Who reads erotic magazines? You don't read erotic magazines. You look at erotic magazines. I mean, who really reads them?
ああいう本を読んでるってことは、やっぱりそういうことに興味があるってことで。
And you know, being a human being in general.
それなのに、私に対してはそういうことを考えないっていうのは、なんかちょっと引っかかるなって。
Of that age and such. Well, I can't say I never imagine it.
へえ、やっぱりしてるの？ダメ。そんなこと想像しちゃう。
It's like, no, Yoshiki, you must never have those type of thoughts. Why not? Because it's unnatural. But it's natural. It's unnatural! Wait, am I allowed to fantasize about you or not? This scene is awkward, I must say. But it was blushing so hard I thought steam would come out of her ears.
ダメだって言ったら、他の女の子で、そういう想像しちゃう？大掃除の時に見たグラビアの子とか。
I don't know. Well, if you say I can't think about you, I guess I don't have a choice. I was just teasing her a bit, but Otome shook her head violently in disagreement.
ダメ。他の女の子とエッチなことしてるのを想像するのは絶対にダメ。
Well then, is it okay if it's about you? Otome's face was so red you'd think her body temperature had gone up 5 times normal. She was probably going through a ton of difficult calculations in her head, and each result made her blush even more. And then, actually, how we've time. Bloody hell, 2 hours 36 minutes. But I'm obviously not gonna stop the recording now because the route's pretty much nearly over, isn't it?
いいよ。私でエッチなこと想像しても。
You know what? I would totally just be like and laugh if this route ends with him imagining one of those scenes instead of actually one of those scenes actually happening, and for it to end with him just like having a nosebleed and they'd be like, itchy pervert, and then it just like cuts to, I know, a credit sequence or something like that, because that would be hilarious. She pretty much whispered that, her face as red as that night when she got drunk off Amazaki.
今想像してる？
Yep.
どんな想像？
Let's see.
ダメ恥ずかしいから言っちゃダメ。
Otome panicked and tried to cover my mouth, but I took her hand and put my lips to hers. Is it over? Feeling Otome's warmth right next to me, I kissed her again. And then still more. Just like we thought we'd get out of the way before we get to the actual epilogue bits. Just like they like dragged it on as long as possible, just like think of perverted things and then suddenly the scene happens. It's just like inevitably so. As I heard the sound of the curtain being slid aside, the warm spring sun shone on my face.
ねえ弟くん、そろそろ起きないと遅刻しちゃうよ。新学期早々遅刻なんてしたくないでしょ。
So does everyone remember him now? Because we've only really got it from Otome's perspective this whole time.
朝ごはんももうできてるんだよ。ほら、早く起きなきゃ。
Just 5 more minutes.
いくら先に伸ばしても起きなきゃならないのは変わんないんだよ。だから今パッと起きちゃおうよ。
10 more minutes then.
ダメ。今日はちゃんと起きてもらうんだからね。新入生歓迎の挨拶、弟くんのために考えたんだよ。ちゃんと聞いてくれなきゃもったいないでしょ。
Otome sure in high spirits today.
当たり前だよ。今日が来ること楽しみにしてたんだから。弟くんとしたいことたくさんあるんだよ。中庭で一緒にお弁当食べたいし、たまには食堂でご飯したいし。あ、校舎が一緒になるんだから生徒会のお仕事手伝ってもらうのもいいな。お仕事終わった後すぐデートに行けるもんね。いろんなところに行こうね。映画見たり水族館に行ったり図書館でお勉強したり、今までできなかったこと全部しちゃおう。ずーっと一緒にいようね。
Not a single cloud passed over Otome's smiling face. It was a smile as brilliant as the morning sun outside. Otome, you seem a lot more cheerful than before.
だって弟くんが戻ってきてくれたんだもん。
It made me feel all giddy when she replied like that without hesitating.
だからもう離れないでね。私がこうして笑ってられるのは弟くんがいてくれるおかげなんだから。
Otome,
何？
I think the face you're making right now is my absolute favorite.
私も弟くんの今の言葉が一番嬉しい。
I'm sure that there will be mornings like this every day from now on. Every morning I'll get to see Otome smiling with all her heart. Except when she's in a bad mood, she'd just be like glaring at you, just like, Otome, you're giving me the Yume face. And I'm sure that my love will grow every time I see her, and I'll love her even more than the day before. And you know what? I've also realized something yet again. They still refer to each other the same way they always had. It was just that one time where they referred to each other, by the name, properly. Without the added kind of where she's like Otome-kun and he's like Otome, where it's like Otome that one time and that was it. Every day will be full of deep love and affection, and we'll go on like this forever, like a never-ending Capo. Title inserted. You just had to do that, didn't you? Just like, yep, we had to end it on that, you know. But we didn't get to see if everyone else remembered it. It just kind of implies that everyone would have. And it didn't really explain what happened with Junichi or Sakura. I mean, obviously that must be saved for Sakura's route, obviously. But still, way to freaking leave me hanging on that, man. It's like, here are the answers. Except, we're not going to give you all the answers. You're just like, we'll give you some answers, I'll make you curious to know the rest of the answers, but we'll only give you some of the answers, but not all of them. Does that make sense? No! Good. Well, that route was a bit mixed. Some of it was just like, you know, really, it went on a long way. Remember back when it was like with the puppet show? That felt like it was freaking... just how long ago was that? Man, time freaking flies. Felt like it was... well, we've seen it quite a few times, but man, it's just like, wow. It's quite a long novel, really. It makes me wonder, if I wrote a visual novel, what kind would it be? Well, I think that's obvious. I mean, I've talked about the story I've been writing, Shadows of the Past, and I'd say it's a bit more like Higurashi in that it doesn't involve, like, building relationships with random girls or anything like that, or have any of those scenes, and is more focused on kind of horror and kind of unraveling the past of the protagonist and things like that. I just can't be arsed, like, writing half the time, though. So it'd be like, months would go by and then I'd be like, you know what, let's write some more to it. And even if I do one day, you know, finish completing that story, it'd just be like, okay, now what? Just like, I want to actually make it into a visual novel of some sort, but I have no idea how. Besides, I haven't even completed, you know, the story itself. So it's probably best to, you know, actually complete that before actually even thinking about that. Well, I don't know. Beautiful flower. Well, this route certainly had answers and a lot of feels. But I still think that Amikaze's route's still my favorite route. We'll see if Yume's route or Sakura's route can dethrone it, but I'm still sticking with that. But this route was kind of mixed, really. But it did have a lot of feels. It's just like, it's a kind of route where I don't know how to feel about it, but it's got a lot of feel to it. It kind of reminds me of Anzu's route, quite a lot in more ways than one, really. It's like Anzu's route felt odd, and just like the focus kept switching, and just like, what the hell is even going on here? And then when it actually kicks in, it's like, all aboard the field train, all aboard the field train. And then there's like Coco's route that just felt like it was the lesser of all the routes. It didn't really have the same kind of feel as the other routes. It felt lacking a bit. It wasn't awful or anything, it just wasn't up to par with the other routes. Then, like, you had Nanaka's route, that one was pretty good. And, yeah. Trying to think, is there a character I'm forgetting? There's Nanatsu, there's Coco, there's Anzu, and Nanaka, yes. So those four were the other routes, and Ome's route now, so that just leave Yume and Sakura. And if we had the expansion version, we'd also have Akane, I think, Maya, the class president, and maybe Mayuki, and maybe another one or two, I don't know. Which would be insane, because this LP is already incredibly long, you know? You know, before I call it a recording, let's actually look through extras. So you got... let me check here. So you got all four of those. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Just like, yeah, we're not even gonna try to hide that one, you know. It's pretty obvious. Wait a second. This one only has one of two. This is clearly Sakura plot related. So there's still these and that. I think that her route is definitely going to be pretty interesting. But we're going with Yume's route next, of course, because, well, we can't actually go to Sakura's route until we've cleared everyone else's route, so yeah. I wonder what Yume's route will be like compared to Otome's route. It's like, through parts of Otome's route, you could tell that she was, like, obviously had feelings for Yoshiki and was kind of jealous, but kind of, like, accepting that they're in a relationship and that, you know, all that. But yeah. Not gonna click over there because, well, it'll have those CGs on it. Well, anyways, I'll see you next time, viewers, for when we start Yume's round. By that, I mean, you know, starting from the very beginning and taking forever to actually get to the route itself, but focusing on any scene that has Yume and her many glares. And if I remember to, I will have a counter for it of some sort for every glare she has in her route, because I literally forgot about that till just this very moment. So, don't know how that'll go. Now, I have no idea what her route will be like, but it should be interesting, I suppose. So, see you next time, viewers. See you next time.